you doing, guys? One thing that's always made me sick were people that will take advantage of somebody. See, they'll keep them close enough to take advantage of them and use them for whatever they need, but when their clique and their friends are around, they want some distance. What Jehovah's Witnesses are not realizing, but this is exactly what Watchtower has been doing to Jehovah's Witnesses over the last few years. And it's been more evident this past year. Now, there's been a lot of questions whether or not this is going to become an online religion. Before, they could have fluffed their way through it, but now they can't. See, Watchtower is not one to let a crisis go to waste, and they are definitely utilizing COVID-19 to become an online religion. For any Jehovah's Witnesses who think that somewhere down the line they'll be going back to their kingdom halls, you can forget about it. And there's a reason for this. See, it's much cheaper for them to have one meeting broadcast to everybody. But that's not the only reason they're doing this. See, Watchtower is getting tired of being liable for the indiscretions of Jehovah's Witnesses. See, when they have the deeds to the Kingdom Hall, and they do, and Jehovah's Witnesses commit a crime, it trickles up to the Watchtower. The courts are going after Watchtower. Watchtower's getting tired of that, and they're getting tired of paying multi-million dollars in lawsuits. Not that they don't deserve it, but from a corporate standpoint, they're looking to save money. See, now what they're doing, becoming an online religion, they're getting some distance. All you are now is people watching their broadcast. Now, in the future, to be labeled one of Jehovah's Witnesses, all you have to do is watch the broadcast. They could easily say, we are not responsible for the people that watch our broadcasts. In the near future, you can look at the elder arrangement to be over and done with as well, because they're not going to need them. See, they will not be responsible for you whatsoever. Look how they're doing the baptisms now. No longer will be done in front of thousands of people. Now you'll be doing them yourselves in your backyard. And don't think this isn't going to happen. Watchtower is a corporation. And the number one priority for any corporation is to make money. Well, with all these lawsuits, they're losing money. Now, if this was a religion, they wouldn't be scrambling so hard to hide their finances under a multitude of corporations. Look what's happening in Australia right now. And not just Australia. They are going to hide all the money they can, and they do not want any more responsibility. See, now what will happen, if there is any more child molestations, it will be on Jehovah's Witnesses. Not saying it's going to work, because the courts are fed up with it, and they are going to go after Watchtower, but Watchtower is doing their damnedest to get distance and hide what they can, because they know the storm is coming. What got me a few years ago was the wake-up call. Now they're pushing, the end is right around the corner. And especially now with COVID, they're telling you it's the last of the last of the last days. Yet why would they spend multi-millions of dollars in not just one production facility, one in New York, one in Australia, and who knows where else? If the end was that close, why would they do it? And they can tell you where they're going to use them in the next system, but they were saying the same things about the Kingdom Halls. We're going to use them in the next system. But no, they're not going to. And they obviously don't believe what they're teaching, that the end is that close, otherwise they would not be spending money on these production facilities. Basically what they're doing is they're hiding their finances in these production facilities. For any of you Jehovah's Witnesses that struggle just to make ends meet, take a look at your governing body. What you call the faithful and discreet slave. How discreet are they? Do you think you're living as well as they are? Many of you are living from paycheck to paycheck, but they are not. Now, Watchtower, JW.org, is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Granted, those many, many, many millions are not in the bank accounts of the governing body. However, they have an expense account. They are living very comfortably. Everything they have is being paid for. Their clothing, their health insurance, and believe me, they have better health insurance than any of you ever thought of having. They're certainly not starving. They can go pretty much anywhere they want. Are you living that well? Now, you call them the faithful and discreet slave, but really, are they that discreet? And about the only thing they are faithful to is the corporation. See, they will have all their expenses paid for as long as they go along with the corporation. If any one of them stood up and says, I can't do this anymore, they would walk away from everything. They would be dirt poor. They would have nothing. So pretty much they are being held prisoner by the corporation. And they know which side their bread is buttered on. They're not stupid. They're not going to walk away from this. But what gets me is none of you are seeing this. And what do they offer you? They've offered you nothing but empty promises and false prophecies. Every time one of their prophecies has never come true, what do? They change their teachings. How many truths do you think there are? There is only one truth. If you change it in any ways, then what you were learning before obviously wasn't the truth. So how many truths do you think there are? There is only one, and you people do not have it. This should have been a wake-up call on the sale of the Brooklyn headquarters some 5 or 6 years ago. I lost track of when it was. But that should have been a wake-up call. This close to the end, why did they feel it necessary to move? Although they did. Now, they've got plans, obviously, for the next decade, because the production facilities are going to take a few years to build. You can't build those overnight. Now, they're building them on free labor, donations that you are paying for, and they are still living like kings, and you are struggling. There are many inside that are seeing this for what it is, but there are still some of you that are not. What is it going to take to wake you up? I mean, they have got you so focused on former Jehovah's Witnesses by calling them mentally diseased apostates, so you won't listen. But more and more of you are starting to listen. Are you going to continue living like this? There is nothing spiritual about these men. They are company men, and their main incentive is to continue the influx of money. Now, the governing body do not rule Watchtower. They still answer to the board of directors. And if they don't do what they're told, and if they're losing that much money, they will and can and will be replaced. As a matter of fact, you can count on the governing body being replaced in the near future, although you'll be hearing other reasons why. This is just something I wanted to bring up to your attention, guys, that this is no longer going to be what it was. This should be a wake-up call. You're giving a letter-writing campaign, and now you're considering that preaching work. Yet, you're leaving your own personal address on these letters. How stupid is that? Why would you do that when you really don't know who's getting these letters? Why? Because Watchtower is no longer liable. Your ministry and what you preach is now yours entirely. Watchtower has washed their hands of everything about Jehovah's Witnesses. It's now all on you. If something happens during this letter writing campaign while you're docking up hours, it is now on you. Watchtower will not come to your defense. That's just something I wanted to bring up, guys, and I'd really love to hear your comments on the subject. I'll be talking to you soon. You guys have a good day and a Happy New Year.